Apache language, talking, spelling, speaking, writing. So we'll start with our, and here's Willem here. He's our linguist here for the Carlos Apache tribe, and he helps different departments. And so today we're doing diacritics with the vowels. We didn't do the alphabets yet, but we're doing vowels today with the A-E-I-O-U. So a diacritic is a marked area marked through an alphabetic character to represent a punctuation different from that of the unmarked character. It changes the sound of the letters. So it's like how you use your glottal stop, high tone, mid tone, and how you pause when you say certain words in Apache, so that you'll learn to speak Apache. The Apache alphabet on the next slide. Let us look at the Apache alphabet for example words, and notice where some of the diacritics occur. Two important diacritics, the high tone mark and the mid tone marks, are ignored in the alphabet. So we will not encounter them in the alphabet itself, only in some of the example words. So some writers use the underline and RT, meaning depending on what area, clan, relative, within your family's discretion of how you guys speak your language. We're not here to say this is right, this is correct, this is wrong. It's with how you, there's a separate letter, so we integrate those in the alphabet, and we will explain what they mean, but writers are free to ignore them for now. And some of the examples of the Apache alphabet, Chikan, Gowon. So as you see with the A, there's no, it's just a regular English A, and then with adding the Gowon, we have that
nasal hook
at the bottom, cha. And those some of the examples, fish, depending how you use it and how you use your stop with the body stops, how you pronounce each word.
Can you go back to the preceding one? Just want to make a few extra comments on the Apache alphabet in addition to what Heather was saying. This kind of looks kind of like English, but many of those sounds are not pronounced exactly like English, so it's a bit confusing. You kind of look at this and you think, oh, that kind of looks like English, but actually most of those vowels and many of those consonants have slightly different sounds from the English alphabet. So don't get confused by that. So I'm gonna, if you don't mind, Heather, I'm gonna pronounce all these things, and if any of you fluent speakers, you can correct my spelling or my pronunciation if it doesn't look right. So the first one is as in shikam, and that means my hand, as you can see, shikam. Second one is that's go walk, as in go walk a house or a wiki-up. Then you have as in cha, which means beaver. Then you have banyu, which means a scarf or something like that, probably originally borrowed from Spanish. Banyu. And then you have feel free to pronounce these words if that helps. Then you have pan, that's also a loan word from Spanish actually. There's not too many B's in the Apache language, so many of those are borrowed. So pan means bread, as you can see. And then you have ch, the ch sound, as in chiz, that means wood or firewood. Then you have the ch apostrophe with the apostrophe. So notice these things like apostrophes, right? The ch in chiz is one letter. Don't say chiz. If that means anything, it means something different. So chiz. Okay, that means firewood. Cha. That means hat. A hat. Cha. So it's not cha. It's cha. Then the next has a D sound, as in don, which means fly. Then you have the word for bird, which is a DL sound, as in glon. And then you have the DZ sound, as in zich, mountain. Then you have the sound, the short This is never an E, it's always an in Apache. Kejish. And I don't know if you can see it, that's a sock. And then there's a rare word here, not many people know this because maybe you don't have too Too many prairie dogs here. Ah is a prairie dog. Then you have the word for knife, originally meaning metal or, or even obsidian, I guess. Bash, that's the word for knife. Then you have an sound with nasalization. Notice the little hooks there. We'll explain those later. Iage, meaning egg. Then you have the g sound, as in gage, that's a crow or a raven. Then you have the gh sound, r, as in egal, a bell, egal. English doesn't have that sound, but I'm not my native language. Dutch has plenty of GHs everywhere, so no problem with that one for me. Then you have the H, sometimes pronounced H a little bit, Harspiti, that's a quail, Harspiti. Then you have the HW, don't write it as WH as in English, but it sounds similar. Nohui, that's supposed to mean us or we. Nohui, no, us. Then you have the word for medicine, izah, that's an I, short I. Then you have a long I, I have a short I, daditi means the door. Then you have the long E, as in E, meaning shirt, or dress sometimes. Then you have the E with nasalization underneath, the little hooks. That's a deer. B. Then you have the word for a J, kind of like the English J, jade, that's an antelope. Then you have the word K sound, as in care, meaning shoes, care, shoes. Then you have the sound with an apostrophe there, a little apostrophe, that's for a bullet or an arrow, ka. Okay, then you have the, I'm sorry?
Not hard. Remember the Greece?
Yeah, that would be ik. Right, that's, you spelled it a little bit differently. Yeah, good point. Then you have the glottal stop here, which looks like a little apostrophe. In English, that's not really a sound, except in a few words like uh-oh. The thing that you hear inside, uh-oh, or meaning no, or uh-oh, meaning oops, right? That's a real sound in Apache, and in many other languages, like in Filipino languages, have that glottal stop quite a bit as well. O-i-an, that means a hole. It kind of looks like a nest, maybe it's a hole. Okay? O-i-an. Then you have a plain L, ilo, red. Then you have the barred L, that's kind of an L with a little slash through it, as in clock, and clock means fish. Then you have an M as in mec, baby. And then you have an N as in naton, corn, maize, corn. Then you have these underlined, the underlined N or the underlined D. Okay, the special thing there is about this little underlining, a little dash. If you want to distinguish between White Mountain and Bailas on one hand, mostly Bailas and White Mountain, and San Carlos proper and probably Peridot as well, you use the underlined N. So this is supposed to be an Apache man, a man or an Apache ne, but in White Mountain and in Bailas it's D. So they won't say, as you know in Bailas they don't say ne, they say nde, so nde, okay. And just to show that's the difference between the dialects, I have the underlined N and the underlined D, and if you're a proud Bailas person, you write an underlined D. If you're a proud San Carlos person, you write an underlined N. No wrong or right, they're both okay. And then a rarer sound is the same thing. This means that they are living, I think, or live. Yeah, live. The word live, that's the same sound with a little apostrophe in front of it. So the difference between ihit na, ihit da, ihit na, ihit da. Okay, rare sound, and not worry too much about it. Then you have a plain O, as in hosh, meaning cactus. Then you have an on, nasalized O. You can see that to a con in Apache means fire. Then you have a long O, as in nachos, Haozous, that means paper. Haozous. Then you have the O, the long O with nasalization, Diacritics. And I had a hard time finding a good example of that. That's a smooth. That means it's smooth. It's smooth. So these are smooth vowels, I guess. So that's my example for Diacritics. So it doesn't mean little blue rocks, it means smooth. Okay? And then another rare sound in Apache is the P that is got us from English usually. Apos. Apos, that's obviously from English, apples. But since originally the Apache didn't have apples, you borrowed the word from English, which is perfectly fine. And then another loan word from Spanish this time is silada. Silada means a soldier. As you can see, silada. Of course, there's plenty of words with S, but I thought this one was silada. And then SH, the SH sound like English. Shush. Shush, meaning bear. And then you have the water, traditional Apache water jar. Tus, that's a T. And then you have the same T also with an apostrophe, so that makes it globalized. The linguists say ito, that's the best. Ito, ito. And then you have a word for frog with a T followed by a bardel. Tush tlohe, something that flops into water, I guess. Tush tlohe. Okay, and then you have that's not that common a sound. The T bardel is not that common. For some reason, much more common is the T bardel apostrophe. So it's oh, meaning grass or flower. Oh, oh. Yeah, it's not that hard to pronounce. Oh. Then you have with the word for rock, sad, that's the TS. And then you have the same word for a cradle board, the TS with an apostrophe. It's ah. It's ah. Then you have a U that is never written wrong, by convention, never written long, even though the word for water kind of sounds. That's water, tu. You all know that word, tu, tu. And then you have the word for teeth, that's a W, iwo, iwo. And then you have the word for beads, yo. Sometimes it sounds more like you, but I mean by convention you write it as yo. So that's the Y. And then you have the word for snow, which you also know, zas. Zas, snow. And then finally the word for money, coins, jali. You all know that word too. Jali. Jali. That's the je as in measure or Asia, which you write as DH. So, see this Apache alphabet has their own conventions. Originally borrowed from Navajo because Navajo is a very similar language, and it's sort of missionaries and Bible translators who work with the Navajos. Spent a lot of time on Navajo, translated the New Testament, and then they started translating the New Testament into Apache, San Carlos, White Mountain, etc. And then they adapted the alphabet. So it kind of looks like English, but it is. Most of those sounds are very different from English sounds. So, jali. Okay. Any questions about this? There's a lot of information in there. Daryl?
On your yen, on the yen, it's 8. If you bring that pitch higher, so the yen is a Apache violin.
It's a what?
It's an Apache violin.
Oh.
Finest version.
Oh.
So the yen is violin and the yen is 8, so it's real similar.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's good to know. That shows you there's a difference in tone. We haven't discussed tone yet. But iyaj with a low tone, iyaj means egg, and if you have a slightly higher tone, which I would probably call the mid-tone in this system, iyaj, that would be a Apache violin. I had forgotten about that. Yeah. Thank you very much for pointing this out.
We had another question.
Very nice example. Who else had a question? Tia?
Wondering, would this PowerPoint be accessible to us? So how do we get in contact? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, this is taken out of a book that's not published yet. I think that just these 2 pages are okay. That's a nice example of what example words. Okay, we're going to do a lot more example words. But you need example words and know what they mean. Otherwise, it's just too abstract, right?
So Willem, real quick, when you say yash and yash, how we were saying it's two different? Is it gonna be spelled the same or will it be spelled different?
Very good question. No, if it sounds different, it's gonna be spelled different. So Iyaj has no mark on, what is egg?
Here.
Yeah, Iyaj has no mark on top of the E's, which shows you that's low tone. Sometimes I pronounce it too high, maybe it's Iyaj. It's not Iyaj. If it's Iyaj with a slightly higher tone, there'd probably be mid-tone marks on top of it, like little dashes. So it's the different word, and it's pronounced differently. It has different sounds, so it will be spelled differently. Joyce?
I didn't mark the here back here because there's a lot of noise, but what was the difference between again and the other words that are similar?
Okay.
I think you pointed out that again and something fighting
Yeah.
What's up, Apache version?
was similar, so.
Yeah, so one in the egg, the word for egg is Iyaj. The word for Apache violin is Iyaj. So higher tone, which I would think is mid.
Is there another word for Apache fighting besides that?
I think there is. Do you know another word for Apache violin, Ruler?
Since I said it's a San Carlos version, it depends on where the makers were from.
Oh, I see, okay, yeah. Yeah. I think there's another
hear
word.
that?
Yeah,
Did you get to hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay. Any other questions? Next,
Yeah. So the glottal stop. The glottal stop is considered by some Apache writers as the first letter of the Apache alphabet. Willem prefers putting it inside the Apache alphabet after the letter K, like we said. Kont was an example. And to emphasize the fact it is just a regular consonant and not something special, it is written as an apostrophe. So the glottal stop actually, you gotta pause when you
Yeah.
say.
it's a real consonant sound. You know, it occurs at the beginning of a word, but it's not written by convention, you know, in front of a vowel. It occurs in the middle of words, and it occurs at the end of words. And it also sometimes combines with other consonants, but that's a little bit different. Okay.
So examples, a glottal stop in the mid word slightly pauses and continues as where you pause.
Me which means sheep. O, which means it's evening, sun's going down. Shita'a, I think that's my
So
uncle.
when he's saying, where he pauses each word, vowel letter.
Yeah, but it's still one word, right? It's one word with these consonants in between, right?
A glottal stop at the end after a short vowel suddenly stops the word.
Obe,
Ibet,
obe, mean pignon, right? Ibe, milk. Ni, ground, soil, ground, yeah, floor. Ma or ba. You say ma if you're from San Carlos. You say ba if you're from Bailas, yeah. So these are glottal stops at the end of words. Okay.
then a glottal stop at the end, and after a long vowel is used only in certain areas. Like how he mentioned that he said, glottal stop at the end.
Yeah, Ize, yo, bija, which means Ize, medicine, right? Yo, bead, bija, his ear, biwo, his teeth. The glottal stops, they are a lot more common in White Mountain and in Bailas. But if you don't pronounce them, then you're a good, proud San Carlos person. So it's okay. But notice that the people who gave the name to a beautiful hospital, Ize Bagowo, Ize Bagowo, you notice there's a glottal stop there. That's because the people who wrote this must have been from Bailas. I don't know who it was, but it was someone from Bailas. So I can tell that. So, Joyce, you had a question?
We're both learning and we're a little bit confused about the glottal stop after the double vowel in
In which
I
one?
don't hear a glottal stop when I say it.
Well, you're pronouncing things a la in San Carlos. There are people from Bailas who say bijab, bijab, with a glottal stop at the end. But if you don't pronounce that glottal stop at the end of it, that's perfectly fine too. But people would be able to tell more or less where you're from. So in the White Mountain also they say Ize, Yo, Bijab, Biwo. But if you just say Ize, Yo, Bijab, Biwo, without this glottal stop, perfectly fine too. I just show that it's a possibility. Yeah. Terrell?
The one you're describing with the long vowels, like from here for example, the jaw, big jaw. We call it in Apache, language that you toss like a rope, you know, a rope. When it goes like this, you got a rope.
Oh.
Not that's the terminal or term for that type of dialect.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is that a pejorative term, or is this, or
It's
not?
not.
Is it like a term of disagreeing with the pronunciation, or just a description? That's what I'm.
Like a stern, mean kind of accent, you're trying to actually say it with
Description how they could tell where people were from.
Yeah.
They tell that how they speak with that language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. That's another thing I need to write out. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions about this one?
So do not confuse the glottal stop with the glottalization consonants of the alphabet, which have an apostrophe as their last component. The glottalization consonants are the following 5, as in
So the CH apostrophe as in cha, that means hat, right? Means in vain. Bichi means towards it, or to it. Chosh means about a snake. Or the K apostrophe as in ka, bullet, ikah, fat, ikeh, and sikisen, my brother, if I'm a man, yakos, a cloud. So ka, ikah, ikeh, sikisen, yakos. And then you have the T apostrophe as in bikah, which means it's wing, right? Leaf. It's leaf. Hante, meaning what? W-H-A-T, what? East, cottonwood, or ito, nest. And then you have the T bardell apostrophe as in bitlahu, which means underneath it. Which means night. Ish, which is another word for snake, and tol, which means rope. Okay? And then you have the TS apostrophe, cradle board, his oh, I forgot what that means. his yeah. Okay, I forgot what that means, I'm sorry. Bits in, which means his bone, and bits ons, which means his veins, or something. His or her veins. And now his is a real word, but I just forgot. It's a verb.
So for the T bar L, you don't pronounce the T, right? It's just there for the spelling, or is it?
No, the T bar L apostrophe, the T is really there. The you, ish, oh. If you pronounce it real fast, maybe the T doesn't sound so much, but it's supposed to be there. Yeah, that's a good point. These should never be confused with the letter j, g, d, l, z, or with the letters ch, k, k, sla, z, which don't have this apostrophe. Okay? They sound kind of like, you're learning Apache. But you've got to distinguish all these consonants that English mostly doesn't have. All right. Any other questions? All right.
So nasal vowel, the nasal hook below a vowel changes the sound. It is pronounced by letting the air flow through the nose as well as through the mouth. There are 2 types of nasal vowels, the short nasal vowel and the long nasal vowel. Nasal hook is never used with a consonant or below the vowel U.
Yeah. Correct.
Examples of nasal vowels, short and long.
Okay, so
So the short nasal vowels,
Sikon, it's dry, Sikon. Prairie dog. King, a house, a house more in a square shape, like a ruin or king. Kon, meaning fire. Then pa, which is an old-fashioned way of saying his mother, her mother. Pacasse, which means a key to open the door. Pi, means dear, and Jean, which means it's nice, it's good. So I'll repeat again. Sikon, Sikon, ki, kon, pa, pacasse, pi, Jean. Jean means, yeah, you know that. Okay, any questions?
so the high tone is an accent above the vowels A, E, I, O, U. The consonant N is symbolic and with a high tone is used by some Apache writers. When used, it gives the vowels or the N a higher pitched tone. The higher tone seems to occur only in short vowels, although some Apache writers will use it on long vowels. Examples. Examples of the high tone. Bijak,
Kejish. You want to say them or? Yeah, okay. Bijat, his or her leg. Kejish, you know, that's a sock. Bitil, his or her chest. Okon, spraying. Hayu, where? Or nzat, it's far away, it's far. Or istanhun, that is more common in White Mountain. Istanhun, meaning something like the woman. Okay? So bijat kejish, bitil, okon, hayu, nzat, istanhun. Takes a while to hear.
the mid-tone, a mid-tone is an accent that looks like a little dash or hyphen above the vowels A, E, I, O, U. When used, it gives the vowels a slightly higher pitch, but not as high as the high tone. The mid-tone occurs only on long vowels and on U, which when pronounced with the mid-tone is also long, even though written in U. The spelling now used in most schools does not use the mid-tone and writes words with the mid-tone either with no tone mark or with the high tone mark. The schools of the St. Apache tribe will have to decide whether they want to adopt the mid-tone mark, meaning examples of the mid-tone.
Okay, nasha means I am from, or I am going about. Nasha, shima, you know, shita, sita meaning he is sitting. Clan meaning many of them. Ya meaning sky. Sike meaning they are sitting down, or they are several are sitting. Pesh, knife, good, it's good. She, me, I. Clean, you all know that word. Clean, it's a horse. G, it's the day. Tu, meaning water, and ku, meaning here as opposed to there. And you see, usually I like to write these words with mid-tones because they're not really high, not really low, but in the spelling that we're using in the dictionaries, you know, kind of inconsistently, so we sometimes write them with high tone, with no tone, in which case they would be low, or with high tone, in which case they would be high, which they really aren't. So this is still a little bit controversial, but you know, anyway.
And you can adopt it from Willem, because this is not on the Apache keyboard, so if you need to use that, talk with Willem.
I'll give you
That's the
all
only thing he meant
for the
about the
mid-tones. Yeah, I know, it's a low tone.
So the low tone does not have a diacritic, so any vowel or N without a high tone mark or a mid tone mark has the low tone compared to shema, shita, with mid tone and low tone, meaning
Yeah, Shema means my mother, as you all know. Shema, my mother. not really high, but not really low either. Whereas my father is low. Shita. Shita. If you say shita, it sounds kind of funny. So shima, shita. So, you know, it's, but they're both written the same usually, but there's really a difference in tone between my mother mid-tone and my father low tone.
So you don't hear any kids running around saying, you'll hear them say, ma, 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 with that mid-tone mark, but they don't say, ta. So that's some of the examples.
Yeah, maybe they do that.
So vowels.
Yeah.
The next slide lists all the vowels possibilities of Apache varying according to vowel length, short versus long, nasalization, and the tone. So the slide after this lists the same info, but the Apache word examples under each possibility.
Okay, you see there, yeah, you have the short low tone, so, and you have to remember, don't pronounce these as I, E, A, O. Because if you pronounce the top line in blue as I, E, A, O, you're spelling English, you're not spelling Apache. Okay? Forget about English. I know it's hard. You gotta forget about English when you learn Apache spelling. So, this is I, E, A, O. Short high tone, I, E, A, O, U. Short low tone and nasal, I, A, O, O. Short high tone and nasal, I, A, O, O. I'm exaggerating a little bit, so for effect. Navajo's teachers do this too. Long low tone, I, A, not I, so I, A, O. Long mid-tone, I, A, O, U. Long low tone and nasal, I, A, O. Long mid-tone and nasal, I, A, O. And that's all the vowels you have in Apache.
That's all we hear.
And then I have examples there. Should I go through these examples? Guess we have time to do that, huh? So, pipit. Pipit, his belly, yochte. Man, what does that mean again? Something like, I forgot. I'm awful. Okay, yochte, something about throwing, I think. Zas, snow, or ian, it's evening. Chichil, you all know the word chichil. You know, if you have read about oak nuts. So chichil means oak. Sugar means sugar. Bika means on top of it. Flok is a fish, and hawu is a dove. Okay, ti is ice. There's no, I can't find an example for a short an. Sika is it's dry. Kon, it's fire. And then shichi, what does that mean again? You remember? Yeah, my nose, of course. Yeah, my nose. Sorry. Shichi, my nose. Ah. Bread up, not top. Corn. Top. Fly. Chini, my face. Ide, a cup. Cha, a beaver. Nachtos, a paper. And then long mid-tone. D means this or these. D. Ne means person or man. Tagi means, what does tagi mean? Three. Okay, good. Cloth, a rope. Two means water. And long low tone and nasal, P. Deer, yaj, egg. Tubahu at the edge of the water, at the edge of the river. Tzod, I think that's something like bullet or something like that. Yeah, okay. And then thi, long mid-tone and nasal. Thi, that's the horse. Daquin-kaz, that means what time is it? Iyan means he or she is eating something. And Jon means it's good, it's nice.
And how was the sound for no example? How did that sound go again?
That would be and I can't find an example in the language for the short S sound. Yeah, it exists long and high, but it doesn't exist. I don't know why. But the E vowels are generally not all that common anyway.
Is it like a lot high mid-tone or low?
Remember, they're short, low tone, and nasal. So, so if you can find a word that has the word, if you can find an Apache word that has a low tone nasal, let me know. I need it.
So at last but not least, the slash are either the bar L. The only consonant that has a slash bar that goes through the letter. It can be written with a diagonal line drawn right or left of the bar in the lower half bottom. It is unique and uncommon in most languages, but at least one European language, well, book of the will, has it too. Examples of the beginning of the word. Clean or
Clean, then I didn't have to vowel stop there at the end because clean is one of those words where you can also vary between vowel stop at the end, in which case it's more bilas or white mountain, or clean without a vowel stop, that's more San Carlos. So clean happens there. Clean, horse, clock, sorry, fish, claw, there's a lot of it. Sit, smoke, sit. And then examples at the end of a word, oar, rope, ar, meaning cradle board, or meaning it's finished, it's over, and then shift, which means with me. And never confuse the bar L with a T when writing, because if you do that, you're going to be in trouble with that word, right? Don't write this as S-H-I-T. People do this, you know? Any other questions? Who has a question? I'm sorry?
I have a question for Carol. What is the meaning of that phrase you said? Ya kick my dead hip? It's like an extension.
What mom update took you? Why is it so that's how you different. There's a motivo, let's go.
Yeah, can we just like put our email on the list so that we can get a copy of that?
Yeah.
PowerPoint?
Yeah, on the,
Signage?
yeah.
Any other questions, anybody? Let's give Willem and Heather a hand. Thank you. Great presentation, thank you. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate, thank you all for coming out.
Thank you for showing us how the difference in
Oh,
the
I know,
language.
right? It was really good. It was really good. Yes, yes.